Welcome to the Elders Seasonal Update. I'm Joel Pippard and I'm going to take you through the climate update for winter 2024. Starting off with the Pacific Ocean, we are currently in a La Nina watch. That means that there's a 50% chance that we develop into a La Nina later this year. Now, because last year was an El Nino year and the oceans are still starting to respond, that means that we will have neutral conditions this winter, so it will not play a significant part in the weather during the winter months. Looking over to the Indian Ocean, we are currently in a neutral Indian Ocean dipole. Climate models are suggesting that we will either be in a neutral or maybe a slightly positive phase during winter and spring this year. If a positive IOD does develop, that typically reduces rainfall for central and southeastern parts of Australia. When we look at the Southern Ocean, this one is the southern annular mode and is currently in a negative phase, which means there are more cold fronts than normal crossing Australia. This negative phase is expected to persist for the first few weeks of June, although longer term models are suggesting that the SAM will slightly favour a positive phase during the winter months. This means that slightly fewer than average cold fronts are expected to cross Australia this winter. Now we can look at the winter 2024 outlook. First, looking at forecast rainfall anomalies, we're expecting largely average conditions across most of the Australian continent. However, we could see reduced rainfall in southern parts of South Australia, Victoria, parts of the ACT, and northern parts of Tasmania, as well as maybe southwest WA. Conversely, with that positive SAM also means more easterly winds, and that tends to increase the rainfall chances for northeastern New South Wales and extending up to eastern parts of Queensland. Looking at forecast maximum temperatures now, we can see that above average temperatures are expected for most of Australia during the winter months. This effect is amplified as we move into August and even into September. Parts of northern Australia may also be slightly cooler than average thanks to increased winds. Looking at forecast minimum temperatures now, temperatures are expected to be above average as well across most of Australia, although the warmer parts are expected to be in the centre of Australia, with some cooler conditions more towards the south. This is because as we get more high pressure coming through, that can lead to increased chances of cold mornings and potentially frost as well. So just to summarise, we are currently in a La Nina watch, but neutral conditions are likely during all of winter. The southern annular mode is negative and should remain so for the first few weeks of June, but predominantly we're expecting positive SAM to dominate during this winter. Rainfall is expected to be above average in the east and drier along the south coast, with largely average conditions throughout the rest of Australia. Temperatures are expected to be slightly above average for most of the continent, although there could be some cooler maximum temperatures in the north of Australia.